Hello and welcome to our first, not our first.
I mean, let's just go ahead and pause this here. I believe I do the hello and welcomes.
Well, you seemed a bit camera shy, so I thought I'd jump in there and just take this ship down the right pathway. Are you drinking coffee already?
Yes.
Mate,
I've been
okay, you're into it.
This first video is already ruined. Start it again. Go with your hello and welcomes.
Yes, that looks like a ton of coffee, by the way. Anyway, hello and welcome to our first ever YouTube video content thing.
This is what we look like.
Yeah, this is what we look like.
Yeah.
For those who are new to us, we are a podcast on Spotify mainly and a few others, but it's Underhive Lorekeepers. Those who know and love us, I'm assuming you love us. Hello. How are we all?
That was beautiful.
Oh,
I'll admit that was brought a tear to my eye. Yeah, I'm hoping people know us. If they don't know us, that's cool. You'll know us by the end of this. So your opening was horrible. Hello and welcome to the very first video episode of the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. This is not a podcast episode. This is just a video episode. A biddy-sode. Now, my opening's horrible as well. I don't know where we're going with this.
with our powers combined, we might have a decent opening one day. So, look, the reason why we're doing this, we'll jump straight into it. The reason why we're doing this is there's a lot of content that gets released for Necromunda. There's a lot of content that gets released for 40k and so forth. And we like to try and, crowbar all of that into Necromunda. So, obviously the Necromunda stuff we don't need to. But we do that at the start of our episodes. So for those who are familiar with the podcast and I'm going to optimistically say 30 to 40 minute intros, which are, it's really a tight intro for us. This is a way of taking some of that stuff we want to talk about and putting it into a different format so it doesn't eat up the podcast time, doesn't chew into that time. Because, we've had some feedback where people have said to us, can you just, maybe get to the meat and potatoes of the episode sooner rather than later.
Samuel, can you please stop yelling?
Yeah.
Like, you can yell
Exactly.
for 10 minutes. Anything longer, and we have to call the police again.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, it doesn't mean that we're going to do tight intros. This is just a process to help. It probably won't. But
Yeah.
the reason for this episode is the brand new Apocrypha Necromunda. Now, I had to take a bit of time practicing on how to say that word. I said it many different ways, and I think that's the only time I got it right.
This is the second
Apocrypha.
opening we've recorded, and the first one we hit Apocrypha Necromunda, and we believe in a G+ rating for the show, and both of us screwed that up several times.
Yeah. No, it was pretty poor. So G+ means we're allowed one low-level swear word for the show, yes? Okay, well, I'm just going to get out there and say it. Bottom.
Nice.
Ooh. We've got a gangster here, folks.
So,
Anyway,
yes, let's re-rail this bad boy. So we are wanting to do a little bit more video stuff, primarily because we can use the stuff that we end up talking about during our openings, where new models coming out, new Apocryphas coming out, that sort of thing, and instead of having 40-minute intros where we are talking about new release minis and preview stuff, we can just do one of these videos and sort of get it all out of our brains quickly. And then when we actually do our episodes, we can do the episodes quickly. Ish.
Yeah, exactly. Ish, yeah. We are known to rant and derail and so forth. And for those who are on our Patreon, you've probably already heard this, but like, one of the things that me and Sam love doing is having a chat about the new miniatures that come out. And we do this in our own time. So this is a way of bringing that conversation, I guess, to a broader audience and getting some input from you guys, and hopefully providing some inspiration as well. Maybe it might just be one miniature or one part of a miniature where you go, hey, I didn't look at it like that. That's really cool. Or to use this rule set in this way is something that these guys have touched on, which I'm going to go off and explore in my own manner. That I think is going to be really cool if we can get that message across. So I guess this will be the first in hopefully a long series of video entries. I guess I know one of our plans is to jump on board with the Las Vegas Open release as well. Yeah. So we'll be doing something for that, and in the old. What's the old adage? What is it? Every miniature's a Necromunda miniature. So when we look at something like the Open or something like that, we're going to tell you how to make those miniatures into Necromunda miniatures. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's, invisible Frodo, he's going to become a Necromunda miniature. Do you remember that miniature?
And I do. Firstly, don't say that. That'll get us sued. But we
will too.
We do need to get into this. But if you do enjoy this show and you're interested in supporting the podcast, please shoot over patreon.com. It's / the Underhive Lorekeepers podcast. We are 100% funded by the goodwill of our audience, though we do this for the love of our hobby. And each month we have a Patreon exclusive episode, as well as competitions, polls on episodes, and other bonus content. If you are looking for another way to support us, get onto our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and obviously YouTube. A like and subscribe helps us grow and get our particular brand of lore out into the world. All of our links will be in the show notes. And don't forget to give us a 5-star review on your preferred podcast platform. So now that the...
Can you 5-star review on YouTube? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I barely know how to podcast, and now I'm having to learn how to YouTube.
I'll stop asking you questions on the fly.
Yeah.
Maybe
if anyone
next
knows,
time we'll try.
Comment. Shoot me a message and tell me how to do these things. I have no idea. But... derail.
Right. So, derail straight away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, let's look at this one here. We should probably open this one up with the first thing we're going to be talking about. And that is this bad boy right here. The Apocrypha Necromunda, Bonedry and Broke. Now, we've had this
release,
for 2 days? It was released yesterday?
Yesterday, I believe.
Yesterday morning? Last night?
I'm going to say yesterday.
And it's apparently an update to the rules for the Venors, which, in my opinion, is weird because what Games Workshop actually did was give us a supplement about Abhumans, and they've sort of stuck Venors in there because I love this thing, and I know it's causing some stuff in the community. People are being like, but what about the costs and the rules? We don't do that here.
Well, what's the shirt say? Lorekeepers.
Lorekeepers, yeah.
We're talking about the lore side of it. The rules are important, don't get me wrong. That's why we play the game. It's how we play the game, whatever. But this rule set that has been released, or this, this ability to run Abhumans, as you like to refer to it, it's a game changer for the lore, especially for us. We've always talked about it in multiple different episodes on the podcast in regard to how cool it would be to have a gang of beastmen or a gang of ratlings or whatever the case might. Or even by throwing squat in there, they still have the squat gangs, but this allows you just to create your own idea, your own machination of what you think and how you think they should be played. You know what I mean? So this rule set for me, and I think I said it to you earlier, Sam, outside of the recording, was that it allows us really to have a look at all the races that we would classify in the Imperium.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So all those things that work well and conductively with the Imperium, they're in this list now. From from the lowest end of the spectrum of the beastman right through to your standard human. So this list, it just allows you just such a broad spectrum. That's what I love about it so much. I just can't wait to start seeing the gangs that originate from here, but also the fact that it just elevates the Venator gang list so much more as well.
I think it finally gives them what they needed, and it brings them into line with the other house books. With obviously with Squats now getting Halls of the Ancients, with the Enforcers sort of falling back, the Nomads falling back. Squats, in my opinion, were falling back a little bit. Obviously, now they've been fixed. But we've now got that fix for Venators in the Abhuman book here. Personally, hey...
I don't think you can refer to it as the Abhuman book.
I can and will.
Bonedry and Broke.
Fight me.
Bonedry.
Fight me. Well, fine. Okay. The Venators book that brings Abhumans. Yeah. But if we look at this year, I'll stop Myron. Basically, I'm hoping that we're going to get an update for Nomads and Gene Stealer cults and all that sort of stuff very, very soon. Hopefully at the LVO.
That would be cool. I'd really love to see Gene Stealer cults because I think...
I want Nomads first, man. No, I want an update to Nomads
actually,
first.
No, right. You are right. I remember that's what really was the first big box that I bought for... N17. Well, I bought the Goliaths and the Escher, and I played a little bit, but not much. But then when I got the Orlok and the Ash Wastes, I was like, this cool. This is really cool. But then, as you say, you explore the Nomads, and you're like, it's like there's a lot there, but it's not. You're not able to do anything with it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of lore there. There's a lot of background, and it feels limited.
They got their Apocrypha Necromunda a while back, where they got the warrior spirits and that sort of thing. But we're doing it again.
Yeah, this is
That's
not
a different episode.
This is about the auxiliary human auxiliaries.
For those of you unaware of the podcast, I'm about to say two words that are going to derail this completely. Gang idea. And I'll come back to that at the end. But so looking at Bonedry and Broke, one of the big things about Venators was the fact that you could give members of your gang a gang legacy. It showed those individuals that had come from house gangs, or in this particular case, had also come from abhuman groups, and it gives you rules and sort of like bonuses to run them. Now, the best part is this further breaks down. So for your Cawdor, if you give one of your members of a gang a house legacy for Cawdor, you're effectively giving them the option of all the weapons a Cawdor Wordkeeper would have. So they have access to a leader's weapon set. The Dalark have the Master of Shadows, the Escher, the Gang Queen, the Goliath, the Forge Tyrant, etc., etc. Even the Squats and the Ogrins, who have previous lists, they're all...
I really like that those got thrown in there as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have access to their leaders' weapon lists.
Yeah, which is cool. It's almost like you're not having to scrap for your weapons, and they didn't really have to. Like, you could go and pick some pretty damn good weapons off the
trading
black market, off the trading post, whatever you might have. But this allows you to really put that gang stamp on that leader.
Yes.
Allows you to create the story, and that's what I think is really important with this list, is by giving those options, which they had before, but you had to pay points for, or credits. So
Not
paying
anymore.
credits. Yeah, well, now you don't have to do that, which is it just allows you to create the story without going, oh man, do I want to spend X amount of credits on that? It was almost like a paywall to your lore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You kind of go, oh, should I? No, I shouldn't. Okay, I'll save those credits for something else. And then suddenly you lose a Juve or you lose this, and you're like, well, those credits I was going to spend on that particular gang member or that particular upgrade are gone.
Can't now.
Do you know what I mean? Can't now. Yeah, it's just like I can't even go to the trading post and get a weapon that is resembling this because I've lost it. But now by adding this free, you go my Goliath Forged Tyrant. You know what I mean? So maybe it was an aspirant or somebody who has tried to challenge for the leadership, has had a square kick in the teeth, and has scurried off into the ash wastes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now has become something else. You know what I mean? So, sorry, excuse me. So now you have this character who you just worry about his weapon set. But as I said, I really love the squatter in there and the ogre in there because it allows you to build some stories around their origins as well. So, especially with the squat too, with that new book coming out and how much depth they have in terms of their history of Necromunda, it can make some really cool Venator gangs from that.
But that's something I find funny here, because it says you can take the weapons from the Chartermaster from the Book of Outlands, not Halls of the Ancients. So,
Oh, really?
I have a feeling
I didn't
that this
read that.
was likely meant to be released a little while back,
Yeah.
and was held off for whatever reason. Me personally, I'm looking at this and I see the Ironhead Squat Chartermaster. I would be taking it from the latest book, which would be the Book
Yeah.
of the Outlands. Much like with the Trading Post, you take it from the Rules Compendium from 2023.
Yeah. I think if I was running a campaign and somebody approached me and said I want to do this because it's more relevant to my gang leader's story, by all means,
Yeah,
go for it. This list is I don't think this list can be power played, definitely, without, and fair play, we don't know that much about the rules that we know how to power play it, but the consensus is that it can be power played, but I don't think that is the reason for this list.
Oh, God, no.
You know what I mean?
No.
And that's why it comes out in an Apocrypha and not embedded into some other book and, given much more than just a PDF. Do you know what I mean? It's because it's saying, for those who want to create a story about something happening on Necromunda, about a particular gang or a particular group of individuals, here is your document to go do that.
But that's the thing I love about this, because we've got all these groups that have been in previous books, these previous houses, the squats, the Ogrins, but obviously they've now come in and given us the Rattlings and the Beastmen, who, ironically enough, are two of the Abhuman races. Oh, the only two Abhuman races we've done episodes on. So, thanks for listening,
true.
James Workshop. We should have done that Catgirl episode much earlier on. Sorry, listeners.
Oh, it would have. Yeah, sorry, listeners. We would have got your cat girls, but we've dropped the ball there.
Yeah. But so in regards to this, I think the rules there, and the rules in my opinion are very thematic for them. The Rattlings are better at sniping, they're better at sneaking, and they have the ability to heal themselves by being sloppers, because Rattlings love food, so they would obviously be able to make themselves some food. But one thing I love about this is the fact that your gang leader can be from any house, or an Ogren, or a Squat, or a Rattling, or a Beastman. So if you want your
Beastman gang leader,
if you want your Beastman gang leader in charge of just a whole mess of former pit fighters, you're in.
Yes.
He was that beast of the pits.
Yes.
You want a Rattling who is forming his own little criminal syndicate, and or he's who was it? The Big Crumb ingredients collectors from our from our Patreon episode.
Dramatis Persona episode. Yeah, or even you have who's another one of our celebrities? It's Horatio Valentino.
Greatest lover of the Underhive.
Valentino. Yeah, all of his I guess, what would you call them?
Paramours.
Yeah. His lovers in training. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Oh my lord. Oh my god, that's the gang idea. This is his little harem.
Oh my god. Literally make Horatio Valentino the greatest lover in all of Necromunda, and his harem of concubines and assorted lovers. See, the gang ideas write themselves.
They do, but you'd have to have a Beastman, a Rattling,
A Rattling, an Ogre, and a Squat.
Yeah. And then A squat, yeah, just one of each, and then you do it. You do it the way that it should be done. You have a squat lady with a beard. Here ho to my Lord of the Rings brothers.
Yep.
The way it should have been done.
Canon.
But anyway, canon, yeah, bang on, absolutely bang on. But what I also love is the fact that, and this was in the previous iteration of the Venors, was the House Hunt leader. So, and being able to play them with multiple different stat lines.
Yes.
So picking something that is relevant and consistent to way that you see the house that they've come from. But another way that I see it is that it allows you then to touch on them as potential xenos as well. Yeah. So using that stat line,
Thank you.
Going, well, okay, let's assume I'm going to do an Eldari here, and I'm going to give him ballistic skill 3+, and movement of 4. Okay, maybe that probably doesn't match up too much, but everything else sort of will go okay. You know,
I'd go that last one, the movement 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 4.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Do like a
perfect.
Corsair, with the chainsaw and the splinter pistol, the attacks. Yeah, I love that.
But so that's like a really key basic element to get that right. Okay, bang, tick, we've got the leader ready to go. Then you go into the gangers and you can start basically pulling that stat line through as well of they've got the Venator Hunt Champions, which is if you use that bottom stat line, you're going to be creating yourself some Eldari, right?
Yep.
Cool, fantastic.
Yep.
What this new iteration of the Venator list does, though, is it allows you to take things that you normally wouldn't be able to get a representative stat line for. So being able to throw an Ogren in there to represent something big and nasty. So let's assume
a Minotaur in that Beastman gang.
Perfect. Exactly that. Or imagine, like I've said Eldari, but let's imagine Drukhari, right? So a Drukhari, but the Ogren is actually like something that one of their
grotesques.
Yeah, has worked on.
Yep.
Or not worked on, but grotesque. And it's this large, just horrendously tortured and butchered creature that they've been able to bring to Necromunda. Maybe they brought it to fight in one of the pits. You know what I mean? The squat hunter is perhaps, like, these things can be used to represent as proxies, basically. Like, I would take the squat hunter as like almost like a mech type unit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just a tracked unit moving around 4 inches.
What would be great?
Like, basic.
But what would be great for that 6-inch movement, the weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 4, but with the 3 attacks? Go one of the Slith. Remember the snake bodyguards and that? Like, do it as almost like an auxiliary. Maybe like a quarter of an Archon who have been sent down because the Archon's like, go and find me something to entertain me. So they've gone like, boom, there you go. Venator, bang. That's what I'm loving about this list. Like, I love the fact that we have Rattlings, Beastmen, Squat, Ogren, right? Yep.
Just remove those names, and look at those profiles, and what can you crowbar into it to make it relevant to that profile.
You can make anything you want from this.
Necrons?
You can actually. What you do...
Go on.
No, hear me out. I would get the... is it the Court of... Not the Court of the Archon. The... It's got like the time romancer or whatever they are. Anyway, you get your Necron miniatures, and what you do is you leave. All right, so you leave.
Do you know what I was really hoping for you to be able to, like, okay, and so this is how you can play off living metal.
You want to do Necrons in Necromunda, do them as corpse grinders, and run them as flayed ones.
Oh,
because they got the masks, people are scared, they're covered in the skins and that sort of thing. Boom. I just came up with that because I actually know some really nice Necron players and I don't want to offend them.
So just an entire gang of Edward Scissorhands. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Edward Scissorhands meets... have you seen Toy Story 4? Where the little girl makes Forky? Which is a plastic fork with like...
Forky, yeah.
Basically, I picture Necrons on Necromunda as Forky. Like, they know they've been artificially made, but they're like, I'm real.
And what, they just want to jump in the trash? Because that's what Forky wants to do. He's
Yeah.
just like, I'm trash.
Yeah.
I just want to go.
Yeah.
But they just inevitably find themselves fighting their way through the hives.
But if
just
we are
trying to get to a
talking
trash
about
can.
if we are talking about trash, you actually can use this new Venator's book to make anything from the Tau Empire if you wanted to.
I was waiting for it. I was absolutely waiting for it. Oh my lord. Yeah, right. Okay. Actually, can you take tech mites as a what are they called?
I don't know. We
The
obviously
Charter Master.
Yeah. We are in Australia, and unfortunately, because we're in Australia, we haven't got the pre-order for the Halls of the Ancients yet.
Oh, true.
If someone can answer that question for me, it would be great, because I would be saying I think you can.
Because there's your drones.
There's your well, there are squats in the Tau Empire. They are falsely known as the Demiurge, and they're actually a Leagues of Votan prospector fleet. So,
Oh, right.
yeah.
Okay.
It was
They'll let anybody in, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Except the orcs. But the Demiurge were the group that gave the Tau their ion technology, so it's their fault. Another reason for you to hate the squats.
Yeah, look, for those who know the show, I don't like dwarves in general, mainly from many, many years of playing Warhammer Old World or Warhammer Fantasy, what it was back in the day, against one particular opponent who kept running dwarves, and I was just like, nah, just give me something that can move a little bit further than 3 inches, please. But anyway, yeah, so the squats just remind me of that more so than anything else. But look, I guess we've talked about a lot of miniatures that we probably should have had a few images up of, but there is a few miniatures we did want to talk about in particular, and I think for me, going along with the new Astra Militarum release that has come out, and the Rattling kill team that came out only a couple of months earlier, these things are just ridgy-ditch, beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And
It's
here
like
is
they
the
knew this was coming.
yeah, exactly. Here's the opportunity to make the entire gang. Do you know what I mean? Like the entire, not the entire gang, sorry, the entire box from just this list.
I know we don't like talking about rules, but Rattling gangers are like 20 credits.
I was just about to see how many credits they
They're
are.
20 credits. So
Wow.
there are 10 Rattlings in there. That's only 200 credits before. Hold on. How much was the Rattling leader?
The leader's 95.
95.
And
So let's
the
say
champions are 50.
Let's say you give him 2 champions at 50 each. So let's say 200. All right. Then you give each of them 75 credits worth of gear. Yeah. That's what, another 225. So you're at 425 so far. You still have 575 credits. For the other 8 guys there. No, 7. That's another 140. You're at, 565 credits? Give them some weapon, mate. Who cares? That box isn't even a full gang. You can still buy them an Ogryn friend that they'd call, like, Big Tiny.
That would be so...
Or,
You
know, or they'd...
Long legs.
Long legs. Yeah. High tower.
No, they... Stilts.
They'd call them stilts. Yeah. And then you buy the dog being like a Necromunda giant rat or something. But...
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
They are so low priced. This whole box is only part of a gang. So you have to get more. Now, keep talking about this, because the next box we're going to talk about is something I would be adding on to this.
So, let me just make a quick little derail here. We're talking about all that. I just had a quick little look at the Ratling stats, and all I see is goblins. That's all I see. Little gobbos, little grots running around everywhere. Escaped from the skull. Got themselves a leader, waving a big red banner and a big red star. And he's like, I'm getting us out here, lads. We're going to go stomp face somewhere else. They escape all the orcs. And this is perfect. This is the perfect way to run little grots. And the reason why they're able to get out is they could shoot so well. So they were able to kill the orcs before they got too close to them. It's like, we're not breakfast today. Boom, boom, boom. And then snuck out a back tunnel.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. I've already got my gang, my key gang that I'm doing for 2025. But a little grot gang is right up there. Do you know also...
Grot Gang 2026?
Grot Gang 2026. It sounds like it.
Grot Gang.
Almost a political...
I think that was a G. It was like an
Yeah,
A.
yeah, no gang signs, mate. No gang signs. All right. Oh, actually,
Grots.
it's Necromunda, but you have to do gang signs. The other thing
Skulltown
I was going to
Locos,
say
baby.
the rattlings are just a superb box for, this one box is going to get your kill team, a squad in your Astra Militarum army, and now a gang in Necromunda, right? There's also the gnomes from Blood Bowl, which have just come into my head, which I should have probably told you about earlier, so we could have prepped the image. But
Just
gnomes,
picture this
like,
box but with beards and cool little hats.
yeah, but they've got the angry goose in there as well.
Yeah.
You run that as a rat. Oh,
No,
superb.
you run that as like a subcroc or something.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Goliath
yeah.
gang level
Make sure
C.
it's Canadian.
Some swan.
Was that your goose? Hello.
Some goose. I've been chased by a goose. They are not.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be scared.
I would.
It's just going to be like a little...
No, sorry. I was chased by a swan. No, I'm an idiot.
Oh,
I was
okay.
chased by a swan.
How old are you? I was actually probably 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
No, I can tell you, I was 33.
33.
Yeah.
And you were scared of a swan.
That thing, it rushed me.
That's coming right at
I mean, we were looking at wedding venues, and that thing rushed me. Tight.
Derail. Tight episode.
So, yeah, split the, was it Brutal and Cunning with a friend. Make sure you get the ratlings and they can have the greenskins, or buy it for yourself and then send us the greenskins. I like greenskins.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But,
so do I.
Yeah, but the box I would be adding on to this to make sure your kill team / Venators / Astra Militarum unit was sort of like extra cool is this bad boy here. And you're going to have to shave off some symbols, but the Felgor Ravagers.
Oh,
Like,
mate, what a box.
Mate, you replace...
That's a box.
But look, you replaced some of the arms with augmetics, maybe from the Horus Heresy Servitor kit. You know, they've got chainsaws and that. They've got pistols already. Sweet. Heck, man, you get rid of some of those Chaos Stars. I'm looking at that as just, freed labour. Maybe
Free
from one of the
labour,
farm
yeah.
domes.
Yeah.
Then they've busted out, or they were literally here as pit fighters, or maybe they were part of an Abhuman regiment that just, when the order came down saying that beastmen weren't sort of kosher anymore, they just go, well, just kick them into the Underhive. Someone will sort them out.
Well, I could see a beast, like, say if beastmen were attached to the Astra Militarum, you could see them being, okay, we're at the end of the campaign, or we're getting very close, we're going to win.
Yep.
So we can't have these things around. How do we get rid of them? Well, we start killing them or run them at the front lines. But the beastmen are smart enough to get wind of this and flee. Do you know what I mean? Or they have enough friends somewhere in a logistics department who've gone, this is the worst fate that could be happening to you guys. We're going to fly you off somewhere.
Well, here's one. The Shaman mini there, the one you used at the start. He's like,
yeah.
Book of the Outcast, I think it's like 35 credits. Any Venator leader could be made a Psyker.
Oh, okay.
He's a tribal shaman, and he's led his tribe up from the Underhive. Or he was slightly shamanistic within the Imperium, and he sort of said, they're gonna hurt us. We've got to get out of here. And he's led his tribe. He's made them flee, and a lot of them died when the Astra Militarum were rightfully gunning them down. But they've managed to get away, and I think that's a great way to look at that. But
I like the idea that they come up from the Underhive.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like maybe they've become the dominant mutation. Do you know what I mean? And when I say, like, we use the term mutation very loosely here, but they've wiped out all the rest of the different kinds of muties. Do you know what I mean? And because of the fact that they all look the same, they're all breeding the same, whatever the case might be, they're able to solidify and create themselves a community down there, but they know they can't get much higher than where they are. But then this shaman takes them up. He's like, we're going to be the first foraging party up. We're going to find out exactly what the muties are the muties and the scabbies, what they're so scared of upstairs in the attic. And this is that almost like reconnaissance scout team. Do you know what I mean? So the weapon options you would keep very, very basic. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And basic doesn't mean you're walking around with a stick and an angry nail. Like, you're going to find chainswords, you know.
Yeah,
you're going to find
chainsaws,
pistols.
Absolutely, but I understand a lot of people are questioning the cost of the Beastmen. They are very, very cheap, but the Beastmen basically all have the stat lines of the Goliath equivalents. They are, I think, like even your basic Venator hunters, which are your gangers, they're a weapon skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4. Like
it's very good.
Yeah, your champions.
It is very good.
Weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks. Like your beastman hunt leader, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 attacks. Like beastmen are screaming at being a close combat option here. So you keep their weapons simple. That's absolutely fine. There's a bunch of them there that have shivs, and that shiv is going through your skull, and then they're taking your femur as a new weapon.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, this guy came supplied with weapons. Cool. Yeah. I think, and again, we're not rules guys, but I did read when I was going through the Apocrypha that if they take a flesh wound, they get an extra attack straight off the bat. So that's so cool.
Yes.
But for me, when we talk about them, like we've done an episode on the Beastmen, when we talked about them in like Astra Militarum sense and fighting on the front lines of the Imperium and so forth, you could just imagine that. Like they take a round of shuriken hits from a bunch of Eldari, and it's just like, you haven't killed us. You've made us very angry though. And that rule perfectly represents what the Beastmen would do. They just get more enraged. Just like, you made me bleed my own blood. That's it. I'm kicking face.
I don't know. I broke you there. Ooh.
You broke me. Yes.
No.
Too much Astra Militarum talk.
Yeah. I clicked something and ruined the video. But no, absolutely. Like, they're begging to be used in this respect. Like, it's insane. I love it.
There'll be a bring gang, and again, it's probably what I mentioned earlier about the fact that they are going to be powerful, but play them with the right spirit. Yep. Don't pick this Apocrypha up and go, how am I going to make my opponents cry? No. Because go to Goonhammer and you'll find those types of gangs for nearly every single house. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
They give you a fun list, a super competitive list, and a hard as nails list.
Exactly.
But don't do that. If you want to do that, go hang out with that Necron guy from earlier. I see this Venator's list. I see the ability to throw these Abhumans in there. I would love to take it one step further and remember the mutant rules from an Apocrypha Necromunda a little while ago for outcast mutants. I'd love to throw mutant Venators in there. Like,
that would be cool.
Can you imagine? Like,
that would be very, very
throw
cool.
in there and just be like, okay, take your basic model and turn them into a mutant. Take the bonus mutant aspects of it, but that goes down the idea of like arbitration, that sort of thing there. But the ability
it's not something you can just build and go take somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
But change these for Xenos, like Nathan said before. You don't have to do Beastmen. You can do get the Seraphon from Age of Sigmar and do a bunch of lizard creatures. Do
cool.
Do
lizard people.
Do Eldar. Take the Escher and do the Eldar. Do whatever you want. Like you have access to so much here that it's it's literally just saying, and we've all been making these gangs this whole time, ever since N17 came out. I have a Tau gang that are made of Delark. Like,
Yeah, true. Yeah, I remember saying that actually.
It's all
But-
about.
Your beast, sorry to cut you off. You just got me thinking about Xenos races. Your beastmen you can just run as orcs. Imagine they're coming out of the skull.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's just a little foray, and every so often the PDF know there is a gang of absolute troublemakers that will come out of the skull, and they're all snake bite up. You know, feathers and claws and all this other stuff. They think it's almost like a rite of initiation. You get out of the skull, you kill as many humies as you can, and you come back with as many skull trophies, and that escalates you further up the list of like challenges for the Great Throne.
And because they're from the skull with the radiation and the bombing and the weirdness, use those Hobgrot miniatures from Age of Sigmar.
Yes.
What are they? They're the Hobgrots, yeah?
I think so. I know exactly what
the
you're talking
weird
about. The
orc
elongated
ones.
bodies.
Yeah.
The proportions don't look right.
No.
They look like something has gone wrong.
Almost human, but with like distorted features.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful.
use them like that's it, man. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just run them as beastmen. And again, don't run them like you want to hurt your opponent. Run them as to why they're coming out of the skull.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's brilliant. But we are very fortunate, just to wrap us back around to our actual topic of the show, we are very fortunate to have a listener who has already gone down this pathway.
Yes, we do. That is a listener and very good friend of ours, the baddest dentist in all of the Underhive, Dr. Toe. And he has actually made... we were chatting about a settlement in one of our episodes called Freehold with the escaped prisoners with jobs and Abhumans and mutants and everything. Everyone's sort of coming together peacefully to look after each other. It's a nice place on Necromunda. And... he did this before the book, even the Apocrypha came out. And for example, this is the mayor of Freehold and his two bodyguards. So immediately I look at this and I'm going, I see a rattling leader with a plasma pistol, a glorious hat, and then he's got just these enormous ogrins behind him. Like
with chain axes.
With
one with the chain axe
and a heavy stubber. Like
brilliant. Just brilliant. Like terrifying, imposing.
Yeah.
You're like, do you know what, Mayor? You've got it.
Yeah.
Do you know you can almost run them as like you'd find a guild. A guild gang. Oh, what are they called? The
delegations.
Delegations. Yes, that's it. Run that as a delegation, and then maybe the rest as the gang. But who knows? Like the rest of the gang is beautiful. We were very, very fortunate enough to also to receive two of the miniatures from his gang as well. Which
you mean these bad boys right here?
Oh yes,
Stavros
the
and
killers.
Pockets, the Stavros brothers. But once again, Dr. Toe had made rattling snipers for his Van Sar gang, the glowworms, it was perfect because he ended up sending them to us, and we love them. We've taken them to an event. We're going to take them to many other events.
Absolutely,
but,
for sure.
Yeah,
Pockets
both of these
is an
going
absolute killer.
Yeah.
An absolute bastard.
But both of these going into the Necromunda 26th.
Of course, yeah.
But
part of the Rattling squad.
Yeah, right here you
Yeah.
have a great example of someone who's already doing this new gang idea of the Abhuman Venators, where they've obviously even got a house sort of variation to them there. So you don't have to run them as the Abhuman version of them. You could run these as the movement 4, ballistic skill 3, I think it was, and give them a Vansar house legacy. Like,
yeah, righto.
Why not?
That's cool. Yeah, of course. Why not? Because the profile is similar enough. Maybe they're a bit tougher, they're a bit stronger, whatever the case. They've had some protein powder this morning. Who knows? But they're Okay, I like that. I like that idea. So you don't necessarily have to just make them
Not at all.
ratlings. Yeah, okay.
If you went, okay, you can go, for example, a House Hunt champion with movement 4, ballistic skill 2 plus, and it's a standard strength 3, toughness 3, 2 wounds. Okay, maybe a little bit excessive for that, but Rattling Hunt champions already have 2 wounds. So, like,
it's only the strength and toughness that is the variation there.
The strength, toughness, and the weapon skill. But because they're veterans, because they've been fighting in gangs, I'd sort of let that get past. But Dr. Toe's also done another example of these in this one here, where 2 beastmen from his glowworms, who, once again, clearly have house leanings. And if you wanted to do all of these, do a Vansar leader with a bunch of Abhumans, and that's the reason they're dressed as Vansar, because their leader is a Vansar. He's a renegade member. He's a member of the the Dayglow Dragons, who have a lot of Abhumans. They're a renegade version of the Dayglow Dragons, and they're operating as blood money mercenaries and bounty hunters. It's the law writes itself.
I was going to say, it's such a beautiful thing to see, and it just needs to be crowbarred into however this Venator list can take it, or as what Dr. Toe does, it basically runs them as Vansar anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's very similar to what I was talking about, being able to proxy, I guess, across to whatever you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So beautiful miniatures, by the way.
Yeah. And the worst part is, he's such a nice dude. Like,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
What a horrible thing to have.
Stop being such a cool friend of ours. Wait, you don't live here. Like, you suck.
Yeah, come to Australia and play us in a game.
Yeah.
You'll probably win.
Probably.
You don't know the rules.
Probably. Don't know the rules. But, yeah, so this has just sort of been a brief sort of idea about it. But, okay. Gang ideas.
Gang ideas. Righto.
What do you have as a gang idea for the new Abhumans supplement with Venator abilities?
Okay, so first off, I want to say my favourite gang idea straight off the bat is Grots escaping from the skull. So that's
pretty
just
good.
my favourite. I love Goblins, and I would be running them as pretty much ratlings, just to... You need to have that strength and toughness of 2. They need to be able to be stomped out pretty damn hard. But I think...
give them an Ogren and run it as like a really dumb, or maybe an orc with a head wound.
Perfect. Yeah, painted blue. They don't know why. They just have this idea that it should be a stone troll. They're like, this makes sense. They're Gork or Mork screaming in their ear saying, make him a stone troll. They're like, what is that? All right, fair enough. But I guess if I wanted to run this is... I keep referencing Astra Militarum. I can see this as becoming a hodgepodge mix of survivors. Maybe they won the battle. Maybe it was a medical ship that touched down in Necromunda, and they're like, clear off all the wounded. We don't want any of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have this... sorry, excuse me. You have this cluster of people who are amassed together, who have no business being together. You know what I mean? So, and it's all because they're wounded. So they've all recovered. So you'd have wherever you can in the army list, try to get like bionics and replacements and whatever the case might be, but clear indications that they've been wounded on some far distant battlefield. And Necromunda was their stopping point, because they went, we've got to clear this whole area because we need to put other things in here. Ammunition, tanks, supplies, whatever the case might be. So you're on Necromunda.
Get on the dropship. We'll come get you later.
Yeah, and they're just forgotten about. They're shifted over 3 columns in the admin notes, and they're never to be heard of ever again. So they begin to make a life for themselves on Necromunda, and their glue that holds them together is the fact that they all fought together on some particular planet. They understand the characters and the heroes from that particular engagement, and there's this sense of unity. There's this sense of togetherness that is what allowing them to survive on a place like Necromunda. So, and your leader doesn't necessarily need to be an officer. For me, I see the leader as maybe he was an Ogren bodyguard, you know. So, and they all sort of rally around him because they go, "You were the closest to the command. You would have picked up something." He's like, "Oh yeah, big Brian up here. I've worked out heaps of stuff," and he's just chicken winging it every day, just trying to get through.
But it's working.
But there would be, it's working, yeah. And the rattling was never injured. He was just looking for scraps of food on the medical ship, and then got stuck, and has been walking around with a limp for so long. It's just become part of who he is, even though he doesn't actually have a limp.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the limp changes legs.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's a sore arm. He just totally forgets. He's like, I can't cook tonight, guys. What's that? Oh, my arm. My old arm injury. Your old what? Leg. My old leg injury. Yeah. It's really, really flaring up.
Yeah. Whenever I chop, I flex my quad. My quadriceptacle. Just got to take the nut off.
Yeah, do you know what I could see this doing as well, actually? It's just dawned on me. Is you could really get lots of different regiments involved in this. Do you know what I mean? Because we know Astra Militarum, they fight on planets with more. So you can have a Mordian Iron Guard in there. You could have a Valhallan. You could have a Savlar. You could have a Vostroyan. All these different things. And they're not necessarily keeping their full kit, but they're keeping remnants of their kit to show where they were from. Maybe try and paint like a unifying army badge or, war zone colour, like the Necromunda.
Pull them together into like a just a generic infantry squad.
Yeah.
No heavy weapons though.
And don't do that. So, but yeah, they've adapted their life on Necromunda, so they'd have like a unifying colour, like as I was about to say, the 8th have the yellow and the red, right? So maybe their ones are blue and a white or something like that. They just have this little disc somewhere on themselves to show who they are and where they're from, and the fact that they respect that. And in my mind, they're consigned to the fact that they're never getting off Necromunda.
Yeah.
So they need to make the best of what they have now, because that transport ship that was supposed to get them is, close to 5 to 6 years overdue.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen for them. They're done. But that would be, if I was to run Venators fresh, it would be them, if like using this list for the way it's supposed to be run with Ogrins and Beastmen and all the rest of it. To run it as a proxy list is definitely little goblins just running around causing trouble, running out of the skull, naughty little things. Yeah. I have a problem. I love goblins way too much.
There's no such thing as loving goblins too much. No, I like that. I really like that.
So, my question to you then, gang idea.
I'm actually going to go Astra Militarum as well.
Oh, shocker!
I'm going to do them as a group, maybe under the leadership of a commissar cadet who's very clearly out of their league, and has basically been sort of shanghaied by this group, most likely by 2 ratlings who have convinced him, we'll get on the ship, bring all them with us, and they've gone down, they've landed on Necromunda, and this commissar cadet's just like, I'm in so much trouble, and the ratling's like, yeah, you're in a lot of trouble, mate. How about you let us, we'll sort it out for us, and we'll all get out of here, we'll all be safe. And this cadet's just like, yep, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. He's got the authority in that. People see the uniform and that, the PDF and that, they're like, that's a commissar, but they don't know. And, PDF commissars aren't as good as regular commissars, so the cadet would still be able to, the ratlings would be like, no, go tell him we need the Chimera. We gotta go. And he's like, I'm taking this vehicle for the holy work of the Astra Militarum, and this PDF guy's just like,
absolutely, boss. Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll do the pre-start check on it for you.
Yep,
Yeah.
and this Ogren climbs on, this Ratlings, these two Beastmen, this one squat who's just like, hi-ho, hi-ho. And then like 2 or 3 people, like humans, and they get on there, and the commissar looks at the Ratlings like, where are we going? And he's like, we've got some family here. We're going to go find them. And it'd be J Squad on the road, the hunt for Stavros. And they'd be looking to head to Acropolis Hive to meet up with the rest of their extended family, the Stavros family.
Yeah, to go finally get a good feed.
Yeah.
We want some of that gyros rat.
Yeah, because these 2 Ratlings were originally from Necromunda and have literally just somehow played the ultimate hand, and they've gotten a ship back, and it just happens they had to convince this commissar cadet to do something dumb. They had the muscle behind them in the form of the Ogren and the rest of them, and some of them were just like, hey, worst case scenario, we tell the Beastmen to charge them, they dope up on the friend zone and we run.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, they just want to get home.
I love how the Beastman is actually attached into this. It's really cool. They would just be like, maybe they've found them somehow.
Yeah.
And even the commissar's like, I should shoot them? Yes? No. Just me. We need them. It's for a very important part of the mission. Very important part of the mission. We need them.
You haven't told me what the mission is.
Well, it's, you're only a cadet. It's secret.
Yes.
Oh
my god. Okay, so one of the Ratlings has a commissar hat on.
I was just about to say that. He waves some like shiny metal or some some insignia of office, and it's just like, oh yeah, no, you don't get that by mistake. Obviously, it was stolen.
He stole an inquisitorial rosette.
Yes. Absolutely.
Done.
And the mission is to get back to his family to see if his family can protect him from the wrath of that inquisitor that's hunting him down.
Yep.
Yes, beautiful.
Done.
Love it.
Done.
Love it.
They'll never find me in Acropolis Hive. Why?
Yes,
because there's
exactly.
a million of me in Acropolis Hive. Like I'm sweet.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I like my Ogren officer or gang leader guy.
Yep.
But your naughty, no good, rattling, inquisitorial rosette thief he's right up there.
Yeah.
Absolute number 1. Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Good job,
Please
sir.
like
Good
that.
job.
All right.
Right.
So, thoughts on this supplement? Thoughts on the supplement?
Brilliant.
What do you think?
To round it all up, I would say it is something I think a lot of players have been waiting for. It is something that I think as we progress with the podcast, we'll probably reference it quite a fair bit, because we do like to come up with some gang ideas that are just really out of left field, bit bonkers, and this is giving you that freedom to make it happen. But my last thing that I'll say, that I've said multiple times during the episode, use this list for peace, for love, for law. Don't use it to make your opponents cry, because you can just go to House Delark and do that. Use this for peace and love, this list.
We never even touched on the black market, or like just taking generic Venators and the ability to buy what you want from the trading post up to, I think it's like rarity 11 or something. Like it's insane. That everyone's been across that stuff since the Book of Peril, when the Venators were first released, but we mainly wanted to talk about the abhuman aspect of it here, and I agree wholeheartedly with what you've said. Like, use this to have fun. Like, go out and do something dumb and have an insane game. Do that. Don't just be like, I'm gonna take just a bunch of Ogrins and give them all heavy stubbers, or plasma cannons, or lightning claws.
Oh,
that's boring.
What are those things that you took? The stupid things.
The Xenos Death Arcs.
I just clicked all
were so much fun. Do that. Do that.
No, don't do that.
No.
Do you know what? Do it. Do it. Have a good story.
Yep. Have a good story about it.
Yeah.
Have a good story.
Have a good story. Yeah. And tell us your story.
And tell us. Yeah. So that's our first sort of foray into video.
Done and dusted.
And depending on the feedback, it might be the last.
Exactly. I think we kept it down to quite a good time. I was keeping a timer. Let me just check it.
About an hour.
Oh yeah. Yeah, about an hour. Yeah.
15-minute video.
What did we say?
15,
we said
20
15-minute video.
30
didn't we?
minutes at
yeah.
most.
Yeah.
Should have stopped it after.
For those of you who don't know
video.
us, for those of you who don't know us, we apologise, but also can't help ourselves.
This is
we
what
just
we
love
do.
a good chat.
Yeah.
This is what we do. Love a good chat.
Yeah.
So, we need a video sign off. A shabba lubba dub bub. Yeah. No, you've already stolen enough ideas from that show.
Yeah, I have.
Bye?
Bye, nerds.
Don't know.
Yeah.
See yous.
Bye, Scummers.